What's up, everybody? TonyPizzaGuy here. Today we got a very important video today. Today we are going to be talking about the WWE Cruiserweight Division today, and today is very awesome. So make sure you hit that like button and let me know in the comment section below today, who is your favorite cruiserweight currently in the WWE? Which wrestler, superstar, athlete do you like the most out of all the cruiserweights? So today I wanted to talk about something very important today, and that is the cruiserweights again, like I said at the beginning of this video. And the reason we want to talk about the cruiserweights today is because today the cruiserweights are looking like they are flopping. Now let me go into this and tell you before you go and start with your pitchforks and your knives and come at me and say, bro, they're working their ass off. You can't give them flack for WWE not promoting them right. Right. You are 100% correct. Let me tell you what's going on with the Cruiserweights. These guys came in to do the Cruiserweight Classic, which I think was a success. I don't know what the numbers were. They obviously had good numbers on the network for them to warrant to add a Cruiserweight Championship and then start a Cruiserweight Division. Now, what this looks like to me, it looks like a Paul Levesque, Triple H coming in saying, man, these kids, they're working their ass off. They got a name for him on the indies. Let's put them on our network, the WWE Network, so that they can get exposure and we can profit off their names and, you know, just show their talents off. And we'll put them on Raw as well. And we'll make a TV show out of it. And you know what? We'll take some of them to NXT. So this is the problem. Number one problem is they are getting overexposed. There is just too much cruiserweights going on. I think that them being on Raw, 205 Live, NXT, and pay-per-views is overkill. Now, I do think that they have a place on NXT. I do think that they have a place on 205 Live, but there are some problems with 205 Live. What I think with this Cruiserweight division is that Raw is not a good spot for them. I think that it can work, but I think that only a few of these cruiserweights are actually getting over. And the problem with this is that when they go out there and they wrestle, I feel like the crowd doesn't really know who they are too much. Like, they grasp onto a few like Rich Swann, but I don't think that they really get a grasp of who these guys are. What they did on the Cruiserweight Classic and 205 Live that was really awesome is they show video packages of these guys and give you an in-depth look of who they are. And that's exactly what they need to do on Monday Night Raw. They tell you a little bit, they do a little videos, but they need to do more and get you more educated on these. Another problem with the Cruiserweights right now is that they aren't giving them all characters. Yes, Cedric Alexander has Alicia Fox, and they're trying to put that character out there. And a lot of people are hating on it. They're saying, why would you do this stupid thing? He's a great wrestler. Why don't you just let him wrestle? Well, the thing is that you can look back at other wrestlers that had main squeezes, like a Macho Man. No, we'll go, not even the Macho. Let's go back to like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. They all had women coming in. If you remember, CM Punk had this thing with Kelly, Daniel Bryan and AJ Lee, and they actually ended up working through all that to make themselves get over, and it worked, and it was fine. So I think that Cedric Alexander, he can be fine. He'll get through it. It'll work for him. It'll be just fine. But again, I think that they need to develop more characters and let these wrestlers go out there and develop themselves. The big thing that I will notice is that they kind of drop most of their gimmick that they have on the independent scene. Yes, like Rich Swann, he's still doing the dance and he's awesome. I love him. Brian Kendrick is like the vet who wants the title. TJP's the young kid who dabs. But there's a guy, Arya Daivari. If you know him, when he started out in the Cruiserweight division, he did not get a full on look of his character. Because I saw this guy being in the Midwest. He's a huge Midwest wrestler, seen in Minnesota, Omaha, wrestled for Now This Is Wrestling. So he is a guy who is awesome, right? He had a carpet that he would bring out. He had the headdress that he would wear, and his finisher was the magic carpet ride, which he would do a frog splash with a rug under him, and that was so awesome. And they have not let him do that on WWE television. Even when he first started in the Cruiserweight Classic, they didn't have him wear the headdress. What I felt like with the Cruiserweight Classic is they stripped down everybody to make them sort of equal and just showcase their wrestling, which is a fine concept because what they want to do is they want to catch that audience, that NXT audience, that internet audience is what they're going for here. And I don't think that will translate to Monday Night Raw. I don't think that it translates to Monday Night Raw because a casual viewer comes in and they want to see their John Cenas. Like, let's talk about the kids and the casual people that just tune in, only watch WWE, right? They only watch the WWE. So the casual viewer will come in and they will say, I like my John Cenas, my Nikki Bellas, my Usos. Those are the superstars that I like. Maybe my AJ Styles, maybe my Dean Ambrose, maybe my Chris Jerichos. Those are the ones that I know and that I like because I've seen them and they're on WWE and I know who they are. But then you see these other people come in and you're like, all right, who's this Drew Gulak guy? And why does he do so many submissions? I don't like it. It's boring. And so for these guys to get over on Monday Night Raw, what they have to do is they have to go out there and they have to kill themselves. They have to do car crash stuff to get over. They have to kill themselves. Yes, they do. You can relate this back to the WCW Cruiserweights, where a lot of them had the car crash type matches. But I feel like even back then, I had a better grasp on who these characters were. Like, honestly, I love Drew Gulak. I love watching his matches. But if you're a new person and you just tune into Raw and you tune into a Drew Gulak match, you're honestly going to turn off. And the only reason is, and it's going to be for certain simple reasons. Number one, he doesn't look like the typical wrestler. He doesn't look like a... He is a wrestler's wrestler, I should say, but he doesn't look like the typical bodybuilder wrestler. One thing that I always don't like in wrestlers is when they don't wear knee pads. I hated when Taz did it, when Cody did it, and I don't really like when Gulak does it, but it sets them apart. You know, they got the different look. But he's not wearing knee pads, and he does a lot of submissions and technical wrestling, and he's not doing a lot of car crash type moves like the high flying, Hurricane Ranas, that kind of stuff. He's only doing like the technical submission stuff. I do think there's a place for that in WWE, but I think that if you are a casual fan and you tune in, that's going to turn you off from watching it. And that's where we need to talk about the casual fan of the WWE. We have the show 205 Live, which doesn't make any sense that they have 205 Live on after SmackDown, because you have the Cruiserweights on Raw, and that's fine and dandy if you want to keep them on Raw, whatever, that's cool. But then they have to travel from Raw to SmackDown so that they can do the 205 Live show after SmackDown, and that's a big problem there too, because you're having the show after SmackDown, and the crowd is dead from the first couple hours, and you have your main event or whatever, and then people are like, all right, I'm ready to go home, but then they have the Cruiserweights on 205 Live in that arena, and it's just not working. The problem is that people are bored. They are tired after watching their main event, and the ones that want to stay do stay, but then they're kind of tired from watching all that other wrestling. You know what I mean? So then a lot of people just go home, and then what they have to do is they have to bring in seat fillers. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what seat filling is seat filling, which I didn't even know until like 5 years ago maybe. My friend actually was a seat filler at a WWE Monday Night Raw. And what a seat filler is that when people get up to go to the bathroom, they go up to get popcorn, and they're on the camera side, like the side that shows the hard cam side, you know, where you look into the crowd and you see people opposite side of that camera. Well, they have to have those seats full when they're on television, because if they don't have them full, it's going to look stupid and it's going to look bad on television and pay-per-view and all that. So what they do is they take a bunch of people and they give them these tickets, but they say, you know what, you're not going to have a seat. What you're going to do is when we need you, we're going to have a guy on a headset and a director. You're going to go sit in this person's seat, and then when they come back from the bathroom, you can get up and they can have their seat back. That is what a seat filler is, and that's what they have to do with 205 Live. They funnel people in, put them in seats, and so they watch the action while there's nobody there, and then they cheer and they have a good time. And people are mostly excited. It's just mostly people that are like, I got a free ticket to Monday Night Raw, and I get to watch this show, so I'm excited. You know, it doesn't matter you know, they don't really care. They're just excited that they get to go to Raw for free or whatever to do the seat filling, and they get to be in a cool spot because a lot of times they'll be closer to the ring because those are the seat fillers they need. So, like, if someone in the third row gets up to go to the bathroom, you get to go sit in that third row seat for a few seconds, and that's pretty cool, or a minute or whatever, however long he's gone at concessions. So this is the major problem, right? 205 Live is after SmackDown. They have the seat fillers. Most of the people that are casual WWE fans have left. The hardcore ones stay. The internet fans stay. They want to see that good wrestling. But again, people just don't care after they've seen their SmackDown. They just want to go home. Even like when they did cool dark matches and stuff, I've always like seen people just get up and leave. Like, that's the thing. Once SmackDown is over, people want to go home because the parking lot is full and they want to be the first one out of the parking lot. So they're like, all right, we got to go. Come on, kids. We got to get out of here. We saw our John Cena's. We saw our AJ Styles. We saw our Nikki Bellas. We got to go home. Let's go. Come on. They're like, I want to see the Cruiserweights. That's fine. It's on the network. You can watch it later. So then they go home. What they need to do, and I have seen this suggestion. This is going to be different than my suggestion. One suggestion that they could do is they could move 205 Live before SmackDown. And then they could just not have it be live. I think it's fine if they don't want it to be live. But I think them pushing it live is adding a different dynamic. I think SmackDown Live makes it different. And I want to tune in when it's live because I can't read those spoilers. If I read spoilers, I don't really want to watch it. You know what I mean? So SmackDown Live, go in. They want to put it before SmackDown Live. And I say, don't really do that. That is not a good idea because you still have that same problem where these cruiserweights have to travel from Raw to SmackDown, and that's just not good. I don't think you need to travel from Raw to SmackDown. I think you could tape it before Raw if you want to do that, but even then, I don't think you want the big crowd. Here's what they need to do to make 205 Live a success and make the cruiserweights succeed in the WWE. So I think what they're doing here is they're going to build a brand 205 Live. If they want to somehow say, you know what, the cruiserweights aren't working on Raw, we're going to pull the plug on Raw for the cruiserweights. They could do that. They could definitely do that. If they're saying, you know what, anytime the cruiserweights come on, the ratings drop and we just can't have them on Raw. That's fine. But you don't kill the cruiserweight division. You have 205 Live. You can keep it and you can thrive and it can survive on 205 Live. I don't think they're going to cut it. I think they've invested too much money and too much time, and these guys are too good to not have them be in the Cruiserweight division. But I think that having them on Raw is good. I think maybe putting them on SmackDown might be a little easier. But here's what you do to fix 205 Live. You move NXT live. Have NXT be live on Wednesdays at the Full Sail University. Have it go live. Once NXT is over, you have 205 Live in the NXT arena. Or if you don't want NXT to be live, do something else with 205 Live at the Full Sail arena. I think you just move NXT live. You take 205, move it to Wednesdays, have 205 Live on Wednesdays after NXT or before NXT or taped at the same time NXT is. I think you need that Full Sail crowd. That is the type of crowd that care about those guys. These are some underground guys, some independent guys that you have to watch and you have to learn. Now, WWE likes to think, well, once they hit the big times, everyone's going to know and they're going to love them. Well, they constantly are bringing in new guys like the Bollywood Boys, and they want to get them on 205 Live, get them out there and get them in the system so they can learn it by putting them on that show, and then the crowd can understand them and whatever. So you need to take them, you need to put them on after NXT. You need to move 205 Live to Wednesdays after NXT. Have NXT air, then have 205 Live air, and that is perfect. Because the problem is that you're taking one of WWE's better shows, Talking Smack, and you're moving that an hour after SmackDown. So here's what's happening. Anyone that cared about Talking Smack is not getting to see their Talking Smack until after they watch 205 Live, and I don't think there's enough hardcore people that are like, all right, I'm going to sit through 205 Live, then I'm going to watch Talking Smack. No. You want to watch Talking Smack immediately after SmackDown because you're invested in SmackDown. What just happened? Let's tune in to talk about it. Boom. Perfect. But I think they just need to shift things around. Honestly, I love the Cruiserweight division. I love these guys. I think there's a lot of talent here. I think they need to be utilized properly. I do think, though, with 205 Live, it is that safety net for them. I think that if it fails on Raw, if they don't want it on Raw anymore, they can take that safety net and they can put it on 205 Live. I'm not saying that they're going to kill it off of Raw. I'm just saying that 205 Live is a safety net for them. The other thing is that if they really are seeing like a huge drop and people aren't caring and they're losing interest, which honestly I thought would have happened by now, but WWE seems to keep going through and trucking because they don't want to say it's a failure. So don't make it a failure, right? But if it does go down to the end, and this is what's going to happen, you just take the Cruiserweight division and you have it be a network special after NXT. That's the best way to do it. You don't move it from live. You just have it after NXT. And you'll say, why don't they just tape it? They can do a bunch in a row, blah, blah, blah. I just think the live format's better. I think all of their wrestling should be live. That's the way that I see it. They're Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205 Live, all need to be live. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the perfect way to do it. And honestly, that's what I say. So, guys, let me know what you think of the Cruiserweights in the comment section below. Again, let me know what your favorite Cruiserweight wrestler is right now. Who is it? Is it TJP? Is it Rich Swann? Is it Brian Kendrick? Let me know in the comment section below. Again, if you guys are sticking here, make sure you hit that like button. And as always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. TonyPizzaGuy 2. Woo!